Hi, and welcome to our 6th episode of Trevor Zoo Live. Today we're going to celebrate the 50th anniversary of Earth Day, and I'm super excited to do that with you. As always, we're going to take the questions at the end, and I'm very excited to welcome you today, and we're going to continue to do these broadcasts every Wednesday at 4 p.m., so tune in every week. My name is Jessica Bennett. I'm the Director of Programs here at the Trevor Zoo, and I started in 2005, and so I've been here for 15 years. I'm passionate about working with people and the environment. My degree is actually in environmental studies with a concentration of environmental education. So I'm really excited to share with you a lot of things today about how the zoo and Millbrook is green and sustainable. So today is, like I said, is Earth Day, and we're celebrating the 50th anniversary. And I'm going to show a short video here of a segment from the Museum of Natural History, and we'll talk a little bit about why Earth Day is so important. Dennis Hayes was the originator of the day. It was because it was a grassroots effort from many people that were concerned about the environment, mainly because of the Cuyahoga River catching on fire in Ohio, DDT around the world poisoning animals, lead paint, urban pollution. All of these problems were coming to the forefront. And so this grassroots campaign brought 20 million people to the first Earth Day in 1970. The decade that followed saw many powerful environmental legislation that we know of today, like the Clean Air Act, the Clean Water Act, Endangered Species Act, which here at the zoo we work a lot with, and the establishment of the EPA, the Environmental Protection Agency. Since the 1980s, there were some rollbacks from that legislation that was put into place in the 70s, but we have a lot of energy and momentum from the youth climate movement that's happening now. So I have a lot of hope, and as long as we live within our planet's limits, we will be able to do better moving forward. The Trevor Zoo's mission is about educating students and visitors about wildlife and then inspiring all to live responsibly. And that means within our means and caring about our planet. So this is really important for the Trevor Zoo and everything that we do at the Trevor Zoo. Starting with our Millbrook's Carbon Neutrality Committee. I'm really excited to say that this is the first year that Millbrook is carbon neutral. And here at the school, what that means is that 100% of the carbon that we put into the atmosphere is offset by renewable resources such as wind power, carbon credits. So here at the school, one of the ways that we do that is through our solar field, which is a 6-acre field that has a 1.73 megawatt photovoltaic solar system. And that covers all of our electrical needs here on campus, along with our geothermal and energy efficient uses here. Millbrook is carbon neutral. Another way that the Trevor Zoo lowers its impact is by composting. We have animals, obviously, and with those animals comes a lot of poop and soiled hay. So here are some photos of some of the volunteers and students that help us with the composting program. So we take it from our exhibits and then we collect it in this main area behind the zoo. You can see there are leaves, hay, obviously some feces go in there, but also some papers that we use for enrichment and unused food. And then this all goes to another space where it is turned and then eventually becomes soil that we use here at the Trevor Zoo. So instead of having to send this somewhere else, we can use it right here on campus, and it becomes a resource for us. Another area that I'd like to share with you is how we reuse things at the zoo. One main way that we reuse products at the zoo is with our perching and downed trees. So as you can imagine, there are a lot of trees here, or if you've been here, you've seen them. And these trees we repurpose. We will put them, we'll cut them to size and store them. Sometimes they go right directly into an exhibit. So you will see a few other photos that I can't switch right now, Dan. This one actually came down in a giant windstorm, and it is in our Snowy Owl exhibit today. As you can see, it does take a number of people to move these large branches at times. Usually we have lots of volunteers that are at hand and help us to move this, but our animals really do enjoy the natural perching that they can scratch up and have the right texture on their feet like they would find in the wild. And here's some more pictures of some of our staff putting in this furniture. We have reused Christmas trees for many years, primarily in our Australia exhibit with the wallabies, but we actually use them in all of our exhibits. This is showing you our teepees that we set up. Our wallabies love to hang out under the teepees, but then they also love to nibble on it. So they're one of the animals that use it in many ways, but we do put them in all the exhibits after the holidays. So our marmosets and our lemurs, it smells nice in the buildings, but then it also allows us to hide food and give the animals a novel thing to check out. Also with repurposing, we have many trees that come down that we can use for lumber. So this is a picture of our mill welcome center, and the welcome desk right there was actually made out of an ash and a elm tree that had to be cut down for the renovation of that building. And those products were milled right here at the zoo, and with the help of Dr. Strauss's mill nearby. And then we turned that into a desk. And we've also turned many other items over into benches and boxes and things like that. So you can't get very much more local than milling your own trees. I'd like to point out some of the other construction projects that we use that are sustainable. So here is at the beginning of ripping up our old paths that were asphalt and putting down a product called Flexipave, which is a company and a product where they reuse car tires they chop them up and mix them with a binder and with some gravel, and then that becomes these really great walkways. If you've been to the zoo yourself, you have seen how they feel on your legs. I get a lot of visitors that talk about loving that surface that they're walking on, so it's great. It's also much easier for us to clear the snow in the winter, so it makes our jobs a lot easier. But then it also is a permeable surface instead of a non-permeable surface. So what that means is that water will actually penetrate through that rubber and it will go into the groundwater instead of running off of the asphalt where we see a non-permeable surface. So it helps with erosion and adding to the groundwater. And here is a picture of our green parking lot. So in the middle of this parking lot, you can see some trees and small shrubs. That is intentional because our cars have a lot of chemicals and pollutants on them. So when it rains, all of those will be washed into that middle area, and those plants will actually bind up with those chemicals and store them in the soil so that it will not go down the stream that's nearby. If you've been to the zoo, you know that there is a nice stream on the left of that parking lot, and so we want to make sure that the wildlife there is not impacted by our chemicals. You will also see the grass growing where we want you to park, and that's actually on a substance called drivable grass, where grass can grow through that product. The grass will sequester some of the carbon in the environment, and it also creates a nice cooler spot for a car and another permeable surface, which we really want to try to promote. This subject near and dear to my heart is about educating. So it's one of the main things that I do here at the Trevor Zoo. Bear with me, I'm used to a live audience and not a camera, so you can see a picture of me here teaching a class. We do many classes for school groups, birthday parties, and we do groups for Girl Scout and Boy Scouts as well. And we do many talks on different subjects from conservation and adaptations to other things like how we take care of the animals. And I always like to talk about poop, especially with the younger kids. You grab their attention, so of course that's here on the slide. Our keeper talks from the summer. So we hope to have you all here this summer and engage with us and our staff in our keeper talks, where we have animals up close and able for you to see and engage with those staff members, so you can ask questions right there. A shout out to our Beardsley Zoo Group. This is their teen group that came to visit the Trevor Zoo, so we're really open to any group that wants to come and visit, and we love to engage with them. Here pictured is our climate change exhibit, and we hope when you come to the zoo that you will read through these panels. We also have a pamphlet that you can take with you when you come, and it gives you some great takeaways of things that you can do at home to help mitigate climate change. This area highlights how climate change is going to affect animals and is affecting animals. And here featured are the red panda, snowy owl, and our black and white lemur. And you can see our lovely eye globe featured here that has a lot of different graphics that we can showcase. Some school groups actually use this as a lesson. I've done a few talks with the data set that's on the eye globe. And then if you tuned in last week, you probably heard about Dr. T and what all that we do with turtles and tortoises. Here's a picture of Jason Tesaro with a student and a teacher here on campus, where we're measuring a wood turtle. And what I'd like to point out today to what we do for conserving the planet is to help restore some of these habitats. So this is a habitat that historically was suitable for the bog turtle, but with time the use of this area has been managed differently, and these trees grew in, which is not actually ideal for the bog turtle. They need more open spaces, so we were able to remove some of the logs, and here you see the truck bringing it away and some of our helpers here, so that then hopefully we're creating a more suitable habitat for those native species like the bog turtle. Now, next I would like to give a shout out to some of our alums, and we have some wonderful videos here that we'd like to show how they're helping to green the planet.
Hi everybody, it's Hanna Petri, class of 1997. Happy Earth Day! I wanted to share with you things that I do every day to help the planet, because I feel it's important that we protect the people and places that matter to us most from the harmful effects of climate change. So what I do is I compost every day, which means I have wonderful soil that I can put on my garden so I can grow my own food. When I grow my own food, I don't have to travel as far to get my food, and my food doesn't have to travel as far to get to me. See, when we burn fossil fuels like coal, oil, and natural gas for our energy needs and transportation, we release more and more excess carbon dioxide into the atmosphere, where it gets stuck. and acts like a heat trapping blanket. And that blanket's getting thicker. And what that does is it warms the planet and it disrupts all of our systems that we have here. So my part is being a member of a community of people who cares a lot by composting and minimizing the distance my food has to travel. Hopefully you can look in your community for similar ideas to join others, because if we all work together doing lots of things, we can make a big difference. Thanks.
Hey Millbrook, happy Earth Day. My name's Steve Pierpont, class of 2007, and I'm coming to you live from Arlington, Virginia. First, would love to give a real big thank you to Millbrook and the Trevor Zoo. Y'all were really influential in helping me understand the importance of protecting our natural world. Right now, in addition to my career in wealth management, I'm an acting board member of Potomac Riverkeepers Network, and I'm actively involved in helping raise awareness around a key forage fish called menhaden. In addition, I recently started a blog called EnviroConscious, which is focused on helping working professionals identify simple steps we can take in our day-to-day lives to lead an environmentally conscious lifestyle. In the spirit of Earth Day, the one thing that I really want to bring attention to is composting. The average American produces roughly 5 to 6 pounds of waste per day, equaling 2,000 to 2,200 pounds of waste per year, of which 60% of that can actually be composted if done the right way. So when you really think about it, from our food scraps to our coffee filters, paper towels to even Q-tips, there's a lot that we touch day in and day out that can be broken down into a natural form if you send it to the right facility. For many of us, that can be done through backyard composting, but for me, living in an apartment, I have to rely on my local municipality. So step one for me was find a really fancy composting bin, which you can keep in your kitchen. When it fills up, I have a little bit larger bin that I use to store my compost until I'm able to take it to my local municipality on a weekly basis. And it's as simple as that. By implementing that simple step, you can really do your part in helping reduce roughly 1,200 pounds of waste from entering our landfills on an annual basis. So I hope this is helpful. I hope you take that one real simple step if you're not doing it already. And here's to becoming part of the solution. Happy Earth Day.
Hi, I'm Bridget Meggs from the class of 1996, now Bridget Lawrence Meggs, and I'm here in the woods with Zuri. And we go for a walk in the woods every day to connect with nature and how beautiful it is, to remind us why we want to take care of our beautiful planet.
Hi, I'm Elizabeth from the class of 2015, and I'm currently living in Costa Rica working on a permaculture farm. And one thing I do for the planet every day is I compost my food scraps so they return to the soil instead of going to a landfill.
Hi, I'm Ava Goodale, class of 2001. I'm the chair of the Millbrook School Science Department and also work for the Morpho Institute doing conservation work in Peru. The thing I do every day to celebrate Earth Day is actually just go outside, either by myself or with my kids, especially with my students who are this week doing a citizen science project at Eber. But it's this kind of work that brings meaning to the places that we take care of and celebrate during Earth Day.
Hi, my name's Drew Moriarty, Millbrook class of 2019, and I currently go to Hobart and William Smith colleges where I study biochemistry and environmental studies. One thing that I do every day to better our planet is try to produce as much as my own food as possible. Whether that's gardening a small plot in your backyard or raising chicks like this one for their eggs, it's a great way to reduce emissions, produce healthy food for your family, and cut down on the toxic chemicals that harm our environment.
Hi there, I'm Caroline Bailey. I graduated in 2007, and my absolute favorite thing about high school, no doubt, was working at the Trevor Zoo. Such an incredible experience. I got to work with red pandas and lemurs and marmosets and all sorts of amazing animals. So thank you, Trevor Zoo, for that incredible experience, and thank you for asking me to participate today. So what I'll do is share a little bit about what I do for work and then provide a few tips of things you can do at home to help the planet. So my experience at the Trevor Zoo provided me with so much inspiration for the work that I do now. And I work for the National Audubon Society. So we're a conservation-based organization, and I advocate not only for wildlife, but I also advocate for people with a historical lack of access to nature, and I help connect them with nature. So this includes people with challenges and disabilities, and this also includes underserved communities. So now what I'll do is I'll share a few tips of what you can try at home to help support wildlife and the planet. So next to me here you can see a nest box. Now this is something you can put up in your backyard that's tremendously beneficial for birds like bluebirds, tree swallows, and chickadees, and it's so much fun to watch these birds raise their young each year. Some of these birds will even raise 2 broods, so you might have a lot of baby birds in your backyard. Here's a few photos of some of the birds that I've had coming to my nest boxes. Now something else you can try at home is getting a suet feeder like this, which is something traditionally you put woodpecker food into. And instead of the suet, you can put in hair and fur from your pets. So I brushed out the fur from my dog, I took some hair from my hairbrush, I cut it into small pieces, and then I put that in here. And then what will happen very soon is birds like Baltimore orioles, chickadees, and tufted titmice are going to come take this to build their nests with and raise their young. It's so much fun to watch, so try it out. Another fun activity that I like to do at home to support wildlife is I make window decals. So this saves the lives of birds, especially birds migrating back to this area often crash into windows because what they see is a reflection of the sky and they think they can keep flying full force into the window because they don't know that a window is there. So what you can do is draw a bird or a butterfly, silhouette of an animal, color it in, cut it out, and then tape it up in your window. That way, when birds fly by, they're going to see that, think there's an animal there, and they're going to fly in the other direction. So here's a few photos of decals I've made. You can really have fun with it, add a lot of different colors and details. It's art for you and for the birds. Another thing you can do at home that I help teach at my workplace is gardening with native plants. So many animals completely depend on these native plants to survive, so we all have the power to help them out by gardening in our backyards, our schools, or our workplaces with these critical native plants. Here's a few photos of some of my favorites. I wanted to share a fun fact about some work that I did at the Trevor Zoo that I'm still doing today, and I actually painted my first mural my senior year with Bill Hardy at the zoo, and I continue to do that with the work I'm doing now. So here's a photo of me then working on that mural, and then here's some photos of the murals I'm working on now. The goal with my murals and my art is to connect people with nature and continue to provide those positive experiences and inspire people to want to care about nature and protect it. Art is a really powerful way of conveying conservation messaging. One final fun fact for you is that last year my organization honored Thomas Lovejoy, fellow graduate from the Millbrook School who worked at the Trevor Zoo, major conservationist and hero of mine. So it was incredible to see him, and it was actually a reunion because he had come to speak at the school when I was a student, and I remember how inspired I felt by him. So to see him later in life in this way, as a conservationist myself, was really incredible. So I hope you go outside, enjoy this beautiful Earth Day, look for animals, look for plants, listen for birds singing, and remember, this is the only planet we have, so please do your part in protecting it, because we all have the power to help make a difference. Thanks, Trevor Zoo.
Thanks, alums. That was great. It was so wonderful to see you and hear what you have to say. Now we're going to shift over and show you a little bit about our mill gift shop, and then show you some of the items that we have there. So the mill is a historic building from 1862, and one sustainable thing that we've done is to repurpose this building instead of tear it down. And by doing that, we did the best we could to save what we could. So many of the exterior or the beams within the structure were saved. The floor of the gift shop was saved. And then we did some things to make the building a lot better and more energy efficient, like the spray foam that you see here. And now it is a wonderful welcome space for all visitors to use. I'd like to share with you some of the green products that we have in the mill now. And we do that by using something that we calculator in-house. And that's what we use to determine how far away the product was made and how it was shipped or brought to us. So if it's local, it gets a higher score than something that is made far away. Is the product made from reusable or recyclable items or sustainable items? And then also, was it something local or something here at the Trevor Zoo? So I'd love to share with you some of the most sustainable products, which are our eggs here. So here I have an emu egg that was engraved. This is an emu egg that was actually laid here at the zoo, and a rhea egg that was laid here at the zoo. And we actually took out the contents of these eggs. We fed those to our animals, and then a student or several students have engraved or painted these eggs that are in our gift shop now. And I know you can't visit the gift shop just yet, but hopefully soon we will have a way for you to be able to get some of the items we have down there. This is wool from our alpacas and our sheep that was combined and processed and then turned into yarn that we have. So you can make your own hat or gloves. Today at Millbrook, it's kind of chilly. You might need a little hat even though it's April. This company here has paper products that are made in New Hampshire using renewable resources of wind and solar. And then the trees actually come from New Hampshire and are in a sustainable fashion of cutting down. I love my reusable utensils. I have a set of these for my whole family in the car, so we can say no to plastic cutlery. These are made out of bamboo, which is a renewable resource. So definitely could get yourself a set of those. These are snack bags. So instead of getting those plastic ones from the grocery store, these are reusable. 2 different sizes in one, and they're easy to wipe out. And I actually brought my sandwich today in one. You can't forget a reusable water bottle. We have many vessels down in the mill where you could have for coffee or water, whatever your drink of choice is. This is just one example that I brought to share. We have a couple of companies that we have in the mill for kids' toys and puzzles. There are many puzzles available in the mill. This one is the Begin Again product. It's made out of rubber wood, which is a sustainable wood that reproduces quickly. And they also have these lovely colors that they use for eco-friendly dyes that are safe for humans and the environment. This is our green toy, and I'd like to point out that it's a recycling truck, perfect for Earth Day today. These are made out of recycled water bottle, milk bottles, and also eco-friendly colors, dyes, and also eco-friendly packaging. So all of those go into our green products and why we choose the certain products in our mill. If you live in New York, you know about the plastic bags at the grocery store and how you now have to purchase them or bring your own reusable bag. So we have repurposed our feed bags that we use here for our animal feed. This is one example. This is the sheep food that goes to feed our Shetland sheep here. And who wouldn't want a beautiful bright orange sheep food bag? This is very durable, and it was all cleaned out and very durable for those canned goods that you're getting at the grocery store. Another reusable bag that we have is our wonderful logo bag here. It's giant, as you can see, so you can put a week's worth of groceries in there, and it compacts down to this tiny little size. I have many of these in my car, in my purse, so that I can always make sure that I never forget one when I need it. And just a couple more products for you. One is our napkin rings made by Dr. T, our director, and these are made from bamboo here at the Trevor Zoo, so repurposed for napkin rings. And just in time for spring are our garden stakes. So the pandas eat bamboo. It's green when we cut it because that's the way they like to eat the green leaves, but as it ages, it dries out and turns this kind of great green, light green color, and then it's dry and sturdy and can be used as garden stakes or tomato stakes, and we have a few sets of these down in the mill ready to go. Perfect timing for growing your own vegetables this spring. So lastly, I should say first, thank you for joining me. I hope that you found some things today that were super inspiring. I know that you all can go home and choose to purchase green products, and think about that by using less. So purchase these bamboo utensils so that you don't have to use the plastic. And then another idea that we're going to do tomorrow that you can join in, and I hope you do, is a roadside cleanup. It's a roadside cleanup. Millbrook every year does a roadside cleanup on Earth Day or Earth Week, and tomorrow we are going to participate in that again. Here are some photos of students that have helped in the past. Unfortunately, this year we don't have our students here, so we probably won't be able to do our whole 26 miles worth of road cleanup, but we hope to do many miles here. So we hope that tomorrow or later this week you will be able to go out in your neighborhood, as long as it's safe, with your family, and try to do your part by cleaning up your roadway, a parking lot, or somewhere where you can see garbage. And also stay tuned. We'll be putting up a video of some other things that we hope that families can do at home. So stay tuned to our feed, our Facebook feed, for that information. So now is a time that we can use for answering any questions, if anyone has any. So I'm going to look. It looks like Augie, I've seen you many times. What can you do to help your planet at 4? Well, one thing you can do is, if it's safe with your family, you could go out and help pick up some of that garbage or trash at your home. You could try to do some recycling with your family. I have a 4-year-old in my life, so I have him help me in many ways. And then if you tune into our video that we're going to put up tomorrow, there will be lots of ways for families to learn how they can better the planet. So for those younger kids. But I would say just get outside and enjoy nature. All right, so I guess with no more questions, we're going to close. Thank you very much for tuning in another episode of Trevor Zoo Live. Remember to come back every week on Wednesday at 4 p.m. And in the meantime, feel free to check our Facebook page for posts, or our YouTube channel at www.millbrook.org. Trevor Zoo Live is our live cameras. 24 hours a day you can watch our live cameras with our pandas and our pond camera. So thanks again for joining us. We miss you and hope to see you back again at the zoo soon. Bye.